Hi everyone, welcome to GTech Techno Solution Private Limited. Now let's discuss about Cartesian plane. So in this we are going to discuss and deal with the following concepts. The concepts are Cartesian plane, co-ordinate axis, quadrants, coordinates of a point and the equation of a line. So these are the topics which we are going to deal in this video. So let's go with the definition of Cartesian plane. If you see about this one, a Cartesian plane named after the mathematician, his name is Descartes. So the Cartesian plane with a rectangular coordinate system that tends to be associating each point in the plane with an ordered pair, that is x, y. The plane is called the Cartesian plane, or else we can say it as the coordinate plane, simply as xy plane as well. So you can see over here how the Cartesian plane is depicted over here. So this is the x-axis, that is the x plane, and this is the y-axis, that is nothing but the y plane. And this is nothing but an ordered pair, that is x, y. Let's go with an example. As we seen before, this is an example in terms of a real-time abstract of a Cartesian plane. So if you see over here, this is considered to be the quadrants. Over here, this is the x-axis which we knew, and this is the y-axis, and this one is the origin, and this one is the first quadrant, second, third and fourth quadrant. So this is how the Cartesian plane will be. Now let's solve some of the questions in terms of the coordinates of each of the points as shown in the Cartesian plane. Let us just observe this and try to solve in terms of the coordinates. Let's go with the first point, that is A. If you see in this Cartesian plane, A is 3 units to the right of and 2 units above the origin. So we can mention 3, 2. Whenever we mention the point, first x-axis has to be come into the picture and then comes proceeding with the y-axis, that is the y plane. So the A is nothing but in terms of x, it's 3 units. In terms of y, from 0, 1, 2. So it's 2 units. So the point of A is 3, 2. Let's see the point B. So from origin, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And from origin, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in terms of x plane and y plane. So the point of B is 5, 5 because 5 is 5 units to the right of and 5 units above the origin. Let's see the C point. So this is the point of C. From origin it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So you have mentioned 7. In terms of Y, that is y-axis or y plane, it is starts with 0 as origin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So 7, 8 is the point of C. Since C is 7 units to the right of and 8 units above the origin. So this is how we got to find out the point of coordinates in the Cartesian plane. Let's go with D. From origin, it's -1, it's -2, -3, -4, -5 and -6 in terms of x plane. So we have mentioned -6. In terms of y-axis, that is y plane, from origin it starts 1, 2, 3, 4. So -6, 4 is the point of D. So it's 6 units to the left of and 4 units above the origin. Now let's move on to the concept called as coordinate axis. If we see about the coordinate axis, the coordinate plane has two mutually perpendicular axes which are number lines. That's nothing but the horizontal axis called as x-axis and the vertical axis called as y-axis. The point where both the axes intersect is said to be called as origin. Now let's look into this one in deeper manner. The horizontal line, that is x, 0, x dash, is the x-axis, and the vertical line, that is y, 0 and y dash, is in the y-axis. The origin is at 0 division on the x-axis and 0 division on the y-axis. You can see the point of origin over here. The positive numbers are labeled on the 0 x direction and 0 y direction, whereas in terms of 0 x dash and 0 y dash, these are negative numbers. Apart from this one, OX and OY are called the positive direction of the x-axis and y-axis respectively. Other than that, in terms of similarity, it's well known that as we labeled before, 0x dash and 0y dash negative numbers indicators. So we can mention that 0x dash and 0y dash are called the negative directions of the x-axis and y-axis respectively. Let's go with an examples in terms of coordinate axis. So the first question is the common one, but you need to have this in mind. We got to name the mathematician who developed coordinate geometry. So the person name is René Descartes. The second example question is as follows. How many points are required to locate a line segment? It's 2, right? That is the horizontal line segment and the vertical line segment. So this is the 2 line segment. So what are the coordinates of the origin? That is 0, 0. So this is the point, the center point that intersects x-axis and y-axis. Now let's discuss about quadrants. As we know, there are 4 quadrants. That's this region is quadrant 1 and this region is quadrant 2, this one is quadrant 3 and this one is quadrant 4. If we see about the quadrants, in terms of definition, the lines, you can see this one, x, 0 and x dash, that is a line, and similarly y, 0 and y dash. So this is one more line. So these lines divide the plane into 4 equal parts. Each part is called a quadrant. The quadrant, that is x, O, y, x dash, O, y, x dash O y dash and x O y dash. So these are called the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant and fourth quadrant respectively. Let us see some of the examples in terms of quadrants. The axes divide the plane into 4 parts. What these 4 parts called as? It's simple, right? So the answer is quadrant. Let's see the next question. It's a kind of example which we have. In which quadrant is the point 4, y lies? Before we see the answer, we must have something in mind as an indication when we see such kind of questions. So the question is 4, y. It's a point which is lying in which quadrant? Both the term is positive. So we must have it might be only in the positive quadrant. Since they did not mention what's the value of y, then y can be anything, right? Either it might be a negative value or else it might be a positive value. This means that 4, y is not just one point. Since y can be 5, then sometimes it can be 4, minus 5, which is a kind of valid answer. So 4 comma minus 3 or 4 comma 0, 4 comma 2 and 4 comma 4. So it might be any point that has x equal to 4. So we can only define that x may be 4, but we couldn't exactly tell the value of y. By plotting a bunch of points that work, it's very easy to find out and pinpoint the point 4 comma y, which is an actual entire line in the Cartesian plane. That is nothing but it's going to be passed through two quadrants. So if these type of questions are asked, we must have something in mind whenever we do this one. The something is nothing but we must have a good awareness of how the quadrants and the Cartesian plane is all about. Now let's go with the coordinates of a point. By the short and crisp definition, the distance of a point from y-axis is called the x-coordinate, and the distance of the point, that is the distance from the x-axis, is called as y-coordinate. X comma y are called the coordinates of a point in the Cartesian plane. If P of x comma y is any point in the Cartesian plane, then x is called the x-coordinate, or else we can say it as abscissa, and y is called the y-coordinate, or we can call it as ordinate. Coordinates of an origin is 0, 0. Hope you remember this point which has been asked in one of the questions which we seen before. Now we'll go with some questions and try to answer this one. The x-coordinate and the y-coordinate of a point M are dash and dash respectively. Here we need to tell about the coordinate by observing this one. So by guessing, this point is origin and this one is 1, 2, 3. So by this side, in terms of x, it will be minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Over this side it's minus 3. By y-axis it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So by guess, the coordinate of M will be minus 3, 4. Let's see the answer. Yes, the answer is minus 3, 4. Let's move on to the next question. The x-coordinate and the y-coordinate of a point L are dash and dash respectively. Let's see this one. Hoping so, we have L. So this one is x and this one is y. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. So it might be minus 5 in terms of x-axis. In terms of y, it will be, since this is origin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one is 5. Let's see. Yes. So minus 5, minus 4. Since we must have something in mind that this line lies in terms of negative direction. So it's minus 5, minus 4. Let's see the next question. The x-coordinate and the y-coordinate of the point S are, by seeing this one and observing this one, in terms of x, it's 1, 2, 3. So 3, in terms of y, it's minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. So 3, minus 5. Yes, that's the answer. So this is how we need to find out the coordinates of a point in a Cartesian plane. Now let's proceed with equation of a line. The equation of x-axis is y equal to 0. And similarly, the equation of y-axis is x equal to 0. And the next one is all about, if the equation of any line parallel to x-axis is y equal to k, and the equation of any line parallel to y-axis is x equal to k. The general form of equation of the line is ax plus by plus c equal to 0. In this equation, a, b and c are considered to be real numbers, and a not equals to 0, or else sometimes b will be not equal to 0. So this is a condition. We have some examples along with the answer. Let's see that one and discuss this now. So the example is, if line y equal to 0, that represents which axis? Yes, it's the obvious answer, it's x-axis. The next example question is, line y equal to 2 is parallel to which axis? So line y equal to 2. So this one is y. So parallelly y equal to 2 will be in terms of x-axis. Yes, x-axis. If line x equal to minus 3 is parallel to which axis? X equal to minus 3. So this is the line. So it will be parallel to, so if x is, so this one is x. So there will be a line over here. So x equal to minus 3. Since this is minus 3, so the line will be in this manner. So it will be parallel to y-axis. Yes. Hope you got an idea of things which we have discussed now. Thank you for watching this from GTech.